it was in February, it was still winter. I did a few weeks after I recovered from the January 800 kilometers. My brother-in-law Ryan, he took me at crazy o'clock in the morning, I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, he drove me to Inverness. That was a supported run. I had a friend, John Yales from Inverness, from Harbour Club, that was pacing me out and navigating. I didn't know Inverness that well to just run out of it without looking at a map. So I was thinking, I need some help. So I had people organized. Ryan was meeting me at different checkpoints, villages, Drumnadrochit, Invermorston, Fort Augustus, with bags of gels and water, just refilled flasks. So that went pretty well. The first section with John to Drumnadrochit was really fast. I think a little bit too fast because it was pretty sore after. We went too fast, and the rest of the way I was paying the price, just cramping really bad. And I was on my own for a little bit until I reached Fort August, Langan Locks. At Langan Locks, I got Corina and Marcus met me, and they continued cycling and running all the way to Fort William. It got dark again, and I remember finishing in Fort William, just running past McDonald's, just almost through the middle of the roundabout. I just ran, I was like, I'm done, and I could hear everyone screaming, and so much, my wife, all my friends. I just touched the stone, and I couldn't believe it. I just slid down on the ground. I was like, I just ran it. How 117 kilometers. I was like, I never done that. I can't even express myself here. It's really hard. It was, for me, it was unreal that I've done it. I posted. I was so proud of it. I posted on social media, but there was few misinformation. There was a misinformation going on there. I was told that it's not the fastest time, but the actual was the faster time was for the race route, which starts and finishes in a different place. So I did the Great Glen Way, which didn't have a fastest time. So I set the record. So I was the first one to set the record for the way. So that counts. But I didn't feel that I actually done it the right way. That took me 11 hours, 53 minutes to run the first time. The second time, Ryan again took me to Inverness at the same time, crazy o'clock in the morning, like 3 o'clock. We just stood there, high-fived, and I went off again, this time on my own. I knew the route now, I knew how to run out of Inverness, I knew where to go. I still got lost. It's just one of those things that's okay. Wasn't too bad, but I found a way in. This time I paced it a bit better, and I think having no one to talk to, I forced myself to just keep moving and going a bit harder on the later stages, and I managed to finish on my own, unsupported, half an hour quicker. In 11 hours, 28 minutes it was, I think, something like that, yeah. And that was unreal, and I think I don't know if you could see the photos there, this is the supported one, but on the unsupported you can see me standing in front of the stone, like, still smiling. I couldn't believe I wasn't feeling broken. So I was like, okay, didn't go hard enough or something. It's like, oh. But it really hurt. I felt it for the next few days. It was like I was struggling walking up and down the steps at work. I had a longer break here because the next one would be the West Highland Way. And this one was a big one, really big one for me and for everyone, like we heard. It's the biggest walk in Scotland. It's just amazing. The view it's so popular. It's a beautiful place. The unsupported record was just under 24 hours, I think. And I thought to myself, that can be done unsupported. My pack was quite heavy because I need food for a day of running on my own. Just in case if something goes wrong, I need at least 24 hours food in my bag. So it was a bit different. Ryan couldn't take me to Glasgow this time, so I decided I'm going to use the public transport. So 6 o'clock in the morning, the day before my attempt, a train from Mallaig all the way to Glasgow, and then a bus to my brother's. My brother stays in Johnston, so I would just get a bus, and then I left from Johnston to Milgai. But when I was sitting on the train in Mallaig at 6 o'clock in the morning, announcement went that the train just got cancelled while I was sitting in it. So there was no bus replacement. We were left on our own. I managed to phone a friend. I think that, yeah, he's right there, sitting there, Brad. I think he didn't sleep much that night anyway, but he he picked up the phone and he agreed to take me to Glasgow. So that was a massive relief. He took me to Glasgow, dropped me off at my brother's, and then just wished me good luck. Spent most of my time with my brother just talking. I don't see my brother quite often, so instead of resting, I was chatting to my brother most of the night. Another friend, Scott, picked me up in Johnston around 2 a.m. and took me to Milgai for just after, I think it was a 3 a.m. start. Everything was ready, we got there in time. I never recce'd the route. So I had a map, I had it back up on my watch, so there we go, I'll be fine. So I started running, and I realized like, my watch is not working. It's like, might be a problem here. I was like, okay, so I was forced to just go traditional, look at the map, look for the arrows. It was quite hard. Some of the arrows were hidden behind trees or bushes, but I managed to find them after getting lost quite a few times. There's quite a few, before Conic Hill, there was quite a few junctions I missed, and I ran past like a few hundred meters, and I was like, oh, I'm in the wrong place here, so I had to go back. So I had the time, but I knew it's one of those things when you're on your own. Down from Conic Hill, beautiful Loch Lomond side, it started, and it was amazing. I spotted the mentioned mountain goats. They were just chilling on the side of the loch. At that point, when I saw them, I wasn't chilling. I was a bit stressed out because it felt like a rainforest. There was no wind. The temperature went up, and it was so hot in the trees, and the terrain was really hard. I wasn't expecting that. So by the time I got out of Loch Lomond, I went on I got to Crianlarich, I was already on like the last of my energy. Then getting to Tyndrum, I remember walking past Glen Way. I'm going to walk in. I'm going to get a cup of tea. I'm done. That's enough. Like, this is crazy. That's not. I'm over it. Well, I managed to take a flapjack out. Hey, flapjacks, great. But I was mostly eating gel, so flapjack was actually a good change. And I had the flapjack. I walked past. I think it was I had my hand covering my eyes, trying not to look at the petrol station and the Green Way. There's people standing there with fish and chips, soups and coffees. I was like, just stay away from me. Like, you know? I just walked past and see what happens. I walked up the hill, and from there I remember I started running again. Like, okay, it's quite sore. I can feel it. My legs hurt, but it felt great. And then I got to Bridge of Orkey, and climbing out of Bridge of Orkey, I found my wife, and I had a wee rant about the Loch Lomond and how it beat me up. I was broken. I was like, oh, well, I felt actually really good. She listened to everything. It was really good. I'm really thankful for that. I don't think if I wouldn't, I think if I wouldn't do that, I reckon will be still there for someone else to take. From there, I got like a boost of energy. I was like, that was off my chest. So I could keep going, and just kept going. ran nog more, went past that. I was really happy because I kept running uphill. I wasn't expecting at this point to be running, but I managed to keep pushing, and my legs felt pretty good. Finally, when I got to the Glen Way mountain resort, this is the place I know. I was like, oh, well, I know. I haven't run there, but I drove past. So I was like, I know the place has not many routes here. I was like, okay, off you go, you know, but it was okay. It was lots of hikers. I followed the people and just kept going across the road and up to the Devil's Staircase. It wasn't too hard. Got to the top and slowly started going down to Glen Way. Here was the first time in my life I was walking downhill. I didn't know that path is that steep. And I remember I tried to run and I couldn't. I was walking like a broken penguin, and honestly, yeah, I was embarrassed. I was like, I can't run downhill. There was a group of tourists. I managed to catch. They were just walking, and two of them started copying my walk. I can't even show that. They just started making fun of me. And I remember lifting my hand up, looking at my watch. It was like 120 something kilometers. I'm like, you don't know what I've just been through. And I remember sprinting off, but I didn't sprint off. It wasn't a long sprint. It was like a few hundred meters, and I was done again to a walk. But it was fine. Okay, I had them back. They were behind me. Let's leave that behind then. Went through Glen Way and back to climbing out. And this part from Glen Way to Fort William took me the longest. That was the only part I knew, and maybe I got a bit too relaxed, but my feet were hurting really bad. I remember this was really sore. The path is quite easy to walk, but it's pretty uneven. There's lots of rocks everywhere, and I remember every single step was hurting my feet. I pushed through that, and then when I got to the vitrified fort, I got another boost of energy, and I managed to run all the way back to Fort William. I had tears in my eyes when I saw Alexandria Hotel. I was like, oh, here we go, we are home. It was great. It was a Hilux, just driving slowly to the end of the high street. I just said to myself, I'm just driving slow enough. I said to myself, I'm going to catch it. I'm going to catch that Hilux before it reaches the finish. I managed. I just got it just before we got there, and it was just amazing. Later on, looking at some of the photos, I was like, I didn't know I was that broken. Like that, it looked bad.